life is good, best I've ever felt. Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find myself. Oh, I feel so alive. As I reach out to the sky. I found my way. I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day, 'cause I found my way.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, so true, so true. I am so glad you said it. It does not matter who the host is. That is for sure. Anyways, how are you? I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods. Let's see. Today is Friday, May the 13th. Oh no, Friday the 13th. It's day 133 of the year and only 232 days left to go. Anyways, I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods. Hey, what happened yesterday? I missed you. Yeah, sorry about that. Ended up having some tie-ups and was unable to attend, so I do apologize about that. But today we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging there.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Yes, hanging out with our friends at radiobig.fm, doing the things that we get to do inside of that multiverse of things. So, yes, it's been some fun times over the last little bit. I don't even know if I should talk about this, but maybe because it is Freeform Friday. So before I get into that portion, let me tell you this. It's Freeform Friday. If you want to interact with the show, the easiest way to do it is by going to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That will get you moving and grooving and all that kind of fun stuff. Oh, yes. And that will get you into the messaging system and all that fun stuff. And yes, if you are paying attention on the streamer and you are seeing the lights go up and down, that is intentional. That is like if you were, sipping a little drink right there, a little drinky, because it is Friday. So that's what that idea behind me is for. That's for sure. So with that being said, let's talk about some of the things going on in Orlando. Yeah. So yesterday it was brought to our attention that things are going very, very well with Radio Big in regards of people listening. So thank you for people hanging out and listening to our freeform radio in the rock genre for some reason in Orlando. So thank you for the people that are taking a listen, and thank you for the people that hang out here on Safety FM and hang out on Radio Big and all the stuff that we get to do. Because realistically, I've said it since day one, we can't do what we do around here without you, the most important part, and that is the listener. Anyways, with that being said, thank you. But let's get into what we have going on today, because that's going to be important. So let's start it off from what was trending, because I think that that's going to be some important aspects there on what we need to talk about. So anyways, Nikola Jovic was trending Thursday after the officially being named NBA's 2022 MVP. So there you go. that was making the sequence of events yesterday. Also, astronomers unveiled the first image of the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way this week in response to the Milky Way was trending. So a lot of stuff, Milky Way stuff. You know, when you start taking a look at it, I'm not talking about Milky Way as the candy, even though that is one fantastic candy bar, if I may say so myself. It is one of those things that you start taking a look at some of this stuff and you go, wow, boy, would I like to have some computer understanding about what's going on with the Milky Way, that's for sure. Anyways, Ashley Judd was trending following her interview with Diane Sawyer about her mother, Naomi Judd's recent suicide. And Christopher Walken was trending on Thursday after multiple outlets revealed his next movie role. So just in case if you're wondering on why he was hitting the things. And of course, anytime that I see an older celebrity hit anything in regards of what is going on inside of the sequence of the news, well, I get a little freaky. I get a little freaked out because I don't know what's going to happen. So if you're new to the show, let me kind of explain to you how the Friday format works. It's kind of a simple process. Talk about safety in the news and safety. We do a little bit of everything. We have this open up. You can come into the chat box, like I said, at callinradio.com. Just come in Messenger, their version of Messenger, version of call in, version of video call. We kind of do some interactions there. That's the easiest way to do it. Call in radio. That will probably get some of my attentions right away in that particular regards, and then we kind of go from there. So we're going to do the news real quick. But I will tell you, pay pretty close attention, because if they don't talk about it, I want you to know about this. Must Twitter hold? Yes, must Twitter takeover temporary on hold? That is some major news that is hitting the rounds right now. But let's get into some of our news stories, and then we can go and see what's going on inside of the world of the news today.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. A $40 billion aid package to Ukraine is being held up by one senator. Kentucky Republican Rand Paul held up the bill Thursday and demanded change to the legislation. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senate Republican Leader Mitch McConnell offered to allow a vote on a Paul amendment, but he rejected the offer. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is warning that reining in soaring inflation may cause economic pain for some. Mark Mayfield reports.
In an interview with Marketplace, Powell added that getting rising prices under control does remain his top priority. He noted that with a tight labor market driving wages up, avoiding a recession following aggressive Fed policy tightening will be challenging. His comments came on the same day that the Senate confirmed Powell for a second term at his position, and a week after the Fed raised interest rates 0.5 percentage point.
Elon Musk tweeted this morning that his plan to buy Twitter was temporarily on hold over a report of fake accounts on the platform. It wasn't immediately clear if any official steps had been taken to halt the acquisition, which was agreed to last month with a price tag of about $44 billion. Twitter was worth about $35 billion this morning. Right after Musk's tweet, the price of Twitter's stock plunged more than 18%. A national shortage of baby formula is sending demand at breast milk banks through the roof. Chris Pallone reports.
The infant formula shortage constantly on the minds of moms like Marita Bekteshi.
Feeling that I might not be able to feed my daughter tomorrow because I can't find what I need on the shelf is honestly very emotional.
The Human Milk Bank Association of North America reports that nearly every major milk bank has seen interest spike. While premature and medically fragile babies get first dibs, other babies are also eligible. The shortage is the result of supply chain issues exacerbated by a major recall in February. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Chris Jones. Russia has fired missiles at an oil refinery in the industrial city of Kremenchuk in Ukraine. Inflation in France last month reached 4.8%, a rise not seen since 1985. The UK says 91,000 civil servant jobs could be cut in a bid to save money to help families hit hardest by the cost of living crisis. And the UN says 18 million children in Nigeria now have no access to education.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Another trial for Bill Cosby is set to start in about 10 days. Lisa Taylor reports.
This time, a woman in Southern California is suing the comedian for allegedly molesting her as a child. Lawyers for both Judith Huth and Cosby are giving a Santa Monica court lists of questions they want the judge to ask possible jurors. Huth claims Cosby molested her at the Playboy Mansion in 1974 when she was 15 years old. The 84-year-old comedian was recently freed from a Pennsylvania prison after that state Supreme Court overturned an unrelated sex assault conviction.
The first ever photo of the Milky Way's black hole is being revealed. Brian Shook with details.
The image shows an oval-shaped void with a bright ring surrounding it. This is only the second image ever captured of a black hole, while being the first to show a detailed look at the Milky Way's core. The black hole is around 27,000 light years away and is 4 million times more massive than the sun.
How about 165 miles per hour in a 70-mile-per-hour zone? That's what one driver was busted for in Oklahoma. An Oklahoma Highway Patrol trooper pulled over a Dodge Challenger Hellcat recently on the Bailey Turnpike, calling his actions extremely dangerous. The driver was fined $499. In NBA playoffs action, the Heat are going to the Eastern Conference Finals after eliminating the 76ers 99-90 in Game 6 in Philadelphia. Heat forward Jimmy Butler says it was a team win.
Complete team effort. Guys in and out of the lineup once again, and guys stepped up in a very big way. So proud of my guys, of this squad. But we realize that the job's not finished.
Miami will face either the Bucks or Celtics for the right to go to the NBA Finals. Out west, the Mavericks aren't going home just yet after taking down the Suns 113-86 in Game 6 in Dallas. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No. Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, let's see. Toilet flushing and shows. What a way to think about it. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show coming to you live on this lovely Friday, the 13th, roughly about 16 minutes past the top of the hour. Yeah, that's what's going on right now. So anyways, thanks for coming back and taking a listen to what the hell we have going on, because that's always some interesting times as we get to hang and bang together. So let's start talking right away, because we need to do this. Taking it from the very top of the hit list, let's talk about what is going on. Thursday marks a grim milestone in the battle of COVID-19. Just over 2 years into the pandemic, more than 1 million Americans have reportedly died from the virus. The U.S. current averages about the deaths a day are about 330. So still to this date, you have about 330 deaths related to the virus. So there you go. Anyways, victims of the Surfside condominium collapse reached a nearly $1 million settlement with insurers. Yes, $1 million. The Wall Street Journal reports that the agreement was announced during a court hearing this week. Almost 100 people were killed when the Miami Beach apartment building collapsed back in 2021. So I remember us being, we were actually... It was like one of those things that our show had just started when we were seeing a lot of information coming on in regards of that. But I have to tell you, based on price structure, on how things are in South Florida, number one, it's kind of low for regards of what we're looking at in regards of the pricing of what they're doing for the housing. And then number two, the other side to the equation that we need to talk about. And not that you could ever put a value on human life, but man, $1 million, that just doesn't seem right.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, rat sightings are on the rise in New York City as more people emerge from the COVID-19 indoor habitats. New York City data shows, though, that through April, residents have called in some 7,400 rat sightings. That's up from 6,500 during the same period last year and up by 60% from roughly about the first 4 months of 2019. In each of the months so far this year, the number of sightings was the highest recorded since 2010. So there you go. Some things to think about. So if you want to go out and take a look at some ratsy-yatsies, you have the availability of doing so by going to visit some New York City. So that's where you go. So there you go. Some fun stuff going on there. Officials in Indiana, or matter of fact, that's a lie. Officials in India are excited to announce the number of greater one-horned rhinos are increasing. Yes. I'm glad that I cleared that up from it being Indiana, because that would have really been a weird story to say. The once a year extinct animal reached the new high of 4,014 in the country's binaural survey. The significant growth is attributed to baby boom due to, in part, of the lack of visitors during the pandemic. So there you go. Just some stuff. Anyways, a baseball side by Vladimir Zelensky sold at auction for $50,103. Boston-based RR Auction will be donating their cut of more than $15,000 to the relief effort of the Ukraine. The ball was projected to sell for about $15,000. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there. What else? So if you're looking at not a lot of stuff that could I find today in regard to what was going on the streamers. So I'll give you the two that I was able to find. New to HBO Max is Old. That came out today. And then also new to Netflix is Senior Year. That came out. And I'll mention this just because I have went down the rabbit hole of this. But have you watched the new Jessica Biel show called Candy that came out on Hulu this week? And they've been releasing an episode a day over the last 5 days. So that came out this week as well. So, yeah, some candy there. And that one is inspired by a true story. Because I can never say that anything's based on a true story, because who the hell knows? What's the true story anymore? You know, there's so many questions about true storyness. So there you go. Anyways, 21 minutes past the top of the hour. So we will get moving and grooving and talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world here. So let's talk about some other things that are going on. Man accused of shooting 10 people on the NYC subway is due in court. The man accused of the mass shooting on the subway system is expected to be in court for arraignment today. Scott Pringle has more information.
Frank James is accused of setting off smoke grenades and shooting 10 people on a Brooklyn subway train on April 12th. James faces federal terrorism-related charges. A motive has not been released. His lawyer, though, accuses authorities of violating James's rights by taking DNA samples without telling him.
We caution against a rush to judgment. Mr. James is entitled to a fair trial, and we will ensure that he receives one.
Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
Yes, I mean, I agree to an extent, you know, innocent until proven guilty. Yes, we've heard this before. The other portion is, how do you get somebody's DNA sample without their permission? I mean, was it kind of like they took a drink out of a can and left the can there and then somebody took it? I mean, I'm just asking the question, of course. Anyways, let's continue talking real quick about some other stuff. We talked about this briefly, but I think we need to go into a bigger dive real quick. Schumer blasts Paul for holding up Ukraine aid package, a multi-billion-dollar Ukraine aid package that is being held up in the Senate. Democratic Senator John Tester of Montana says the aid is desperately needed, and he doesn't see Russian President Vladimir Putin military aggression ending in Ukraine.
Half this package is defense, half of it's humanitarian, and so it's a little bit distressing and speaks to the dysfunction in Washington, D.C.
Majority Leader Chuck Schumer blasted Kentucky Republican Rand Paul Thursday in a single-handedly holding up roughly $40 billion. Schumer and the Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell offered to allow a vote for Paul's amendment, but he rejected the offer. Paul defended his move, calling the massive patch physical insanity. He said that we cannot save Ukraine by dooming the U.S. economy. The House approved the measure last week, while the GOP Senator Rand Paul argues that we cannot save Ukraine by cannot save Ukraine by dooming the U.S. economy. Senator Tester says that it's possible to provide assistance in both fronts.
We can walk and chew gum at the same time.
I don't know how. I don't know how that clipping says that, but okay, something to think about. So, what is your general feeling about this whole thing? Because you know that this is going to be a hot subject matter. Because people have been talking about it ever since the amount of money was referenced on what was going to be assisted. What is your thought process on what is going on? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what your thought is. That's why I asked the question. You know, it's a good way to have some engagement between you and I. Anyway, let's continue talking about some other things real quick. Coastal fires, 20 homes destroyed and 11 damaged. In Laguna, California, dozens of homes have been affected by the coastal fire burnings along the Orange County coast.
They were going to look at all aspects of what could have caused this devastating fire. So as far as the specifics right now, we don't have those specifics, but our investigators will be looking at every possible cause.
I love the pause there. That was interesting. The Orange County Fire Authority Assistant Chief T.J. McGovern, at least 20 have been destroyed and 11 were damaged on Thursday. Many of them were multi-million-dollar mansions. The fire broke out on Wednesday afternoon amid high winds between Laguna Beach and Laguna Nile. Let's see. It's 15% contained, and the mandatory evacuation are still in place. Orange County Fire Authority Assistant says that that the fire wasn't fueled by Santa Ana winds conditioned.
We did have the winds coming from the west, and what happens in that canyon where it started was at the bottom of the drainage, and it established down there, and we did have wind, which is a normal wind condition for this area.
2 firefighters were hurt and since been released from the hospital. In Orange County Fire Authority Assistant Chief says that the fresh firefighters are already taking on the blaze.
All fresh crews go out there right now for 24 hours. The crews that came off are rested, so they'll be going out. So it turns into a rotation.
So there you go. It sounds like a terrible situation on what's going on over there on that side. Anyways, 26 minutes past the top of the hour. We are still hanging and banging. Let's start talking a little bit more about some other things that are going on. Gas prices jumped to a new record high. The price of gas is shooting towards $4.50 a gallon. Trey Thomas has more information.
It's another day, another record at the gas pump. AAA reports the national average gas price is up a penny from Wednesday to $4.41 a gallon. As it has been for some time now, Californians are paying the most at an average of $5.85 a gallon. Prices are cheapest in Kansas, where drivers are shelling out $3.98 a gallon. I'm Trey Thomas.
So what are you seeing in your neck of the woods? Because I'm kind of curious. I will tell you, I took a little drivey by yesterday, and where I'm located, it was up to $4.49 a gallon. That's what we were seeing on what was going on. So I was kind of in shock to see that. So it'll be some interesting times taking a look around. Let's see. So 425, your direction. Yeah, if you could put where you're at, that'd be fantastic. So 425. 559, really? 559. In my country, they sell it by liters. Okay, so there you go. I mean, so that would have to be some mathematicianists that we had to do. We'd have to figure it out there. But anyway, some interesting stuff as it's coming through and taking a look amid and all this other fun stuff of what's going on. That is for sure. Let's talk about some other things. Researchers in Australia believe that they have found the enzyme to predict SIDS. Australian researchers believe that they have found a way to detect babies at risk of SIDS or sudden infant death syndrome. Mark Mayfield has more information.
SIDS typically occurs when a seemingly healthy baby under the age of 1 dies suddenly, and it normally occurs while they're asleep. Scientists found an enzyme was lower in babies who died from SIDS as opposed to babies who lived. Researchers say the enzyme plays a part in the brain's arousal from sleep, and if babies have lower levels, they're less likely to wake up or to respond to their environment. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that one, letting us know what is going on. So let's talk about this. I tell you all the time that we talk about things that are going on in Utah, and I do it on purpose. So please understand this. But take a listen to this. Medical Cannabis Conference to include, some areas of talking about emergency use. Salt Lake City, a medical cannabis conference is being held at the Utah State Fairground this weekend, and we'll have a feature not seen in previous state conferences. The Utah Can Conference will have a tent where medical cannabis patients can go if they have the urgent need to use their medication.
It's not up to the promoter, it's not up to me, the state, or anybody else to dictate what's an emergency for a patient. It should be perfectly legal. It's under our law and in our statute.
Okay, Christine Stequinst of Together with Responsible Use and Cannabis Education says that the tent is practical response to the possibility of using the drug as medically necessary. Organizers said that they checked with the state officials before green-lighting the tent to have someone checking, the medical marijuana cards before allowing access. Salt Lake City Weekly publisher Pete Saltas says that he has checked with the state officials about the tent and says that the use will be closely monitored.
We're going to have somebody there checking people's cards, making sure that it isn't somebody going there for rec. It's going to be a medical use only, period. And get in, like I said, get in, get out. There's going to be a couple chairs in there, a little water station, and that's it.
So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on with that one. So let's just talk about this, because you already know that for some people, the medical marijuana aspect is a controversial subject. You also know that somebody wants to be the first person to pull this sucker off in regards of doing it. And they say, hey, I'm going to be the first one to be in the seat. And there's going to be some other people that are going to be like, oh, shit, there is no way that I am going to do that in front of a group of people, because who knows what the hell's going to happen. And I get it either way. So what's your thought process on this one? Because here's the thing. We're getting closer and closer, it seems like, where this is going to become, a little bit more normalized than what people expect. And I know it's been a slow thing here. It hasn't been the quickest path to get to it, but it seems like the legalization of marijuana, and as we see it more and more through states, and we're talking about medical here, we're not talking about recreational, so let's just make sure that we're clear. What do you think about it in regards of it happening, from a Fed level? But, until it removes from a Category 1 drug, there is no way that I see it being legalized across, the planetor here. So there's some things to think about as we are hanging and banging on this lovely Friday.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's continue talking. If we are talking about the world of drugs, let's talk about this real quick. Souther's Allen wants Paulus to veto fentanyl bill. The Colorado Springs Mayor John and the 4th Judicial DA Michael Allen do not want the current fentanyl bill to become a law. Southers told reporters yesterday that the legislature failed because dealers can avoid being charged with a felony.
The defendant can assert an affirmative defense that I didn't know it was fentanyl. And if you assert a affirmative defense, the burden shifts to the prosecution to disprove that affirmative defense. So the prosecutor still has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
So Souther says the exception makes no sense because the language doesn't exist in other drug-dealing crimes. Allen says that the bill will be rushed and inadequately address the synthetic drugs that affect on to Colorado. They want Colorado Governor Jared Polis to veto the bill, and then called for a special legislative session. Colorado Springs Mayor John Souther says that the state's fentanyl bill doesn't work because it let dealers off the hook.
In essence, we have left possession of less than 4 grams of fentanyl as a misdemeanor.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of there. We will continue to see a lot of stuff going on. So as we continue to talk, you heard about this earlier, but let's talk about it real quick. Formula shortage driving milk bank demand. A national shortage of baby formula is sending demand at breast milk banks through the roof. NBC's Chris Paulhan has more on this information.
The infant formula shortage constantly on the minds of moms like Marita Bekteshi.
Feeling that I might not be able to feed my daughter tomorrow because I can't find what I need on the shelf is honestly very emotional.
So let's see. Chris Paulhan says that the actions the Biden administration are taking to be able to help out on what's going on.
Thursday, President Biden spoke with the leaders of 2 major baby food makers, as well as Target and Walmart, in an attempt to spur production and solve distribution issues. The administration is also looking to import more formula from Central America and Europe.
You know, I have to tell you, though, when you get to the portion where you're already having the problem, like, hey, this is the issue that we're running into, it's kind of late into the game for you to go, okay, we're going to go out there and do this or that and move forward with it, because it's going to take a hot minute before you're able to do anything. I mean, let's just be realistic. It's not going to be like an overnight sensation where things are going to shift and change for you right away. So I am not 100% sure on what the expectancy is and how quick some of this stuff is expected to change, because if you're having the issue right now, how quick is it going to be before you see a change into it? I don't think that anybody could really answer that question at this particular moment of time. So just some things to think about. So I don't know. Let's go ahead and drop into, one of our special sessions here for it being Friday. Let's go from there.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. One of the things I am most thankful for is God's faithfulness. We can depend on Him. He will never let us down. One of my favorite hymns puts it this way: Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions they fail not. As thou hast been, thou wilt forever be. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning new mercies I see. All I have needed thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness unto me. Lord, help us to remember that even if our faith fails, you will remain faithful. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
In bad times, I know I'll be okay, 'cause I find my way. I find my way. 'Cause I find my way, my way, my way, my way, my way. 'Cause I find my way, my way, my way, my way, my way. I found my way, I found my way. I was in the dark against it all, but maybe.
Oh, there you go. 40 minutes past the top of the hour.
I found my way.
This one's called I Found My Way, just in case you did not realize that.
'Cause I found my way.
Yeah, this one's brought to you by Howman featuring Elwin. The song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Yeah, I found my way. So there you go. Thank you to Hallman and Elwin for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, because they found their way. So there you go. Yep, and some good stuff going on right there. Yeah, have you found your way? Good. I think you should. I think it's important. Anyway, so let's get back into it as we are 41 minutes into this thing and moving and grooving and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. I will tell you, I got so excited talking about everything else that was going on that I forgot to bring some Johnny Smalls inside of here and letting us know what is going on inside of the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, May 13th, 2022. Equities wobbled Thursday after opening at a new low. The action was driven by a hot PPI report that showed producer-level inflation is still on the rise and accelerating on a year-over-year basis. The takeaway for investors is that with producer prices still on the rise, consumer prices are going to rise as well, and that is bad news for the economy. Inflation has been above the Fed's 2% target for over a year now, and accelerating with a situation will force them to act, and possibly more aggressively than they've indicated. Because there is still more than a month before the next meeting and a full round of economic data, we think the market is in for more volatility, if nothing else. Next week, the market will have little to move on other than economic data. The earnings season is all but over, and what's left is mostly consumer and retail names. The risk for the market is that consumer spending may flag in the face of rising prices and send the market into an earnings recession. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of the world of the multiverse. That is for sure. So let me tell you the most important thing that I'm going to tell you all day at any point that we speak. I can tell you thousands and thousands and thousands of different things, but this will definitely always be the most important one. Let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experience from people in your local community whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. Yes, no doubt whatsoever about it in regards of what you can do if you go to the website and interact with what's going on. You might sit back and go, well, Jay, this doesn't really apply to me. Well, you never know when it might apply to somebody that you know, or how you'll be able to share some of this information with others. There's different ways on how you can make a difference inside of your local community, how you can learn the facts of what's going on, hear about real stories, and even try to make a difference inside of what is going on inside of this particular world of ours. So a lot of different ways that you can help out if you choose to, and that is entirely up to you. Anyways, that's our friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on this lovely, lovely Friday as we are talking. So if you're looking for some movies, let's talk about that real quick. Today's movie openings, Firestarter, yes, after being experimented on a secret government entity, The Shop. Andy develops a psychic powers that meets the love of her life. Together, they have a daughter with a power that her own, and the shop will stop at nothing to get them back. So there you go. That comes out today. And then The Innocents comes out as well today. Not rated. It's a horror thriller movie if you're on the lookout for some of those things. Anyways, let's talk about some travel arrangements. Yeah, let's do that real quick, as we are talking. I would imagine that depending on what you have going on, most people are considering taking some level of a trip this coming summer. So let's talk about that. It may not come as a surprise, but according to science, if you and your partner are planning a holiday, it is best to let the female choose where. Not only do women put more research into vacation planning, but they also make better decisions, according to a recent study. Skycanner found that 75% of women do the research when planning for a holiday, and 95% of men and women are happy with this arrangement. And the other studies have found that women are more likely to spend time looking for a good holiday and analyzing a number of criteria such as hotel reviews and travel advice. Men, however, on the other side are more decisive, but book a holiday more impulsive and less research. A 2017 study found that women do more organizing on holidays too, such as packing, arranging travel insurance, and asking neighbors to water their plants, while men tend to book an airport parking and buy foreign money. By the way, 66% of men think that they do most of the holiday arranging. So that's just for information purposes. So you're telling me that these plants need watering while we're away? I wasn't aware of that. It rains here in Florida all the time, so I didn't really think that was a thing. And let's face it, if guys are doing a vacation arrangement, every holiday would be centered around a major sporting event or golf. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but it sounds like there might be some truthfulness to some of that stuff. Don't take it the wrong way. Just kind of the way that it goes from time to time. Just saying. Anyways, let's talk about some news of the weird, because it is Friday, so it is 47 minutes past. A Virginia couple couldn't decide whose last name to take after getting married. Left the murderous decision up to fate. So in a flip of a coin, Colin Hansen proposed to Pearl Lee in November, but both realized that they wouldn't. They would each be final members of their families to carry their last name. So, and the pair hadn't reached the decision by the time that they were to walk down the aisle on March the 26th. So they opted to have their significant other flip a coin at the end of their nuptials and decide their fate. A wedding guest is Lee Hansen. The wedding shared a video on TikTok showing the moment that the coin was tossed and the couple was formalized and introduced as Mr. and Mrs. Hansen. It quick went viral, garnering over 1.8 million views. So there you go. I had a friend. Well, I shouldn't call him a friend because it wasn't a friend. It was a work acquaintance many, many years ago that him and his wife could not decide on that. So they did a split name. It ended up being like Havertree is how it ended up being their last name. I thought it was kind of an interesting proposition, and we're talking probably back in like 2003. 2002, so way ahead of the curve. Anyways, a Canadian member of parliament has apologized after being called out by the opposition for participating in a House of Commons proceeding virtually from a washroom stall last Friday during a debate. Conservative MP Layla Goodridge flagged the Speaker of the House, saying that that appeared on the Liberal MP Brampton Center MP Shafta Ali was participating from a washroom. The speaker reminded Parliament that we have to be very prudent on how we use our devices and to be aware of the surroundings on while we're online. Monday morning, Ali appeared on the House chambers virtually, not from the bathroom, and apologized for the unfortunate event that transpired last Friday. Do we need additional Parliament oath of office, no cameras in the bathroom? I mean, that's something to think about. So now my question becomes this. Like, how do you have your device in your hand and go, hey, I have no way of knowing that my device is going to actually come upon and have the camera going in regards of what is happening? I mean, this is one of those weird things that you start thinking about and go, well, how the hell did that happen? I mean, at what point do you think that you don't have a camera? I mean, if you ever look at some of these people online in regards of that are heavily involved in tech, why is it that they have tape over their cameras and their speakers? Or not their speakers, but their microphones. It's like they know something. They know something that we don't know. At least it seems that way. That is for sure. Anyways, before I get too far along into some other things, let's bring some John Smalls back in here and let him tell you what's going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Drake. Norman Vincent Peale said, "We tend to get what we expect." I like this quote. I remember talking to a guy who had been doing the same exact thing for many, many years, but somehow he was expecting different results than he had gotten before. I asked why. Well, he didn't know why, but he knew he needed different results. Then I explained to get that, he might need to change his plan. That will change the outcome. That's like following the instructions on the back of a box of brownies, but you expect a cake. No, get a cake mix if you want cake. The outcome that you expect will depend on what you're doing to get there more than anything else. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. Most of us heard about neuroplasticity as the ability of the brain to form and reorganize synaptic connections in response to learning. What a lot of us don't know is that one key ingredient of this process is making of errors. People understandably get frustrated when trying to learn something new, and their frustration drives them crazy. But what they don't realize is that this state is exactly what signals to the brain that something is not working. And the brain doesn't understand frustration as an emotional state. The brain understands neurochemicals that get released, namely epinephrine and acetylcholine, but also dopamine, when we start to approximate the correct behavior just a little bit. That's what makes the errors the basis for neuroplasticity and for learning, and that's what makes the changes in the circuitry of the brain to initiate forming new connections. For more, check out AlysaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show. Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Oh, self-imploding could be an important thing depending on how you take a look at it, that is for sure, as we are hanging and banging on this lovely Friday. Anyways, let's continue talking real quick. 3 911 calls to be released today in Gilgo Beach murder. Suffolk County authorities are expected to release more evidence today in the connection of the unsolved infamous Gilgo Beach murder. Scott Pringle has more information.
Suffolk police are going to release 3 911 calls to the public. The calls are from the night when sex worker Shannon Gilbert went missing in 2010 near Oak Beach. Attorney John Ray says Gilbert stated in her 911 call that they're trying to kill me as she was trying to get away from her client. A search for Gilbert led authorities to 10 sets of human remains in the Gilgo Beach area, and that sparked a serial killer investigation. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Scott Pringle, for letting us know what is going on inside of there, letting us sharing some of the information on the things that are going on. By the way, let me ask you real quick, should I talk about strange that you didn't know that are considered bad luck? Yes, Friday the 13th can be daunting, but in some cultures, so are these. Wishing someone a happy birthday before their birthday, and many Germans believe that will cause misfortune to everyone involved instead of something that garner, the night before the birthday to begin celebrating exactly at midnight, but like to celebrate my birthday for a week, so I don't know how the hell that would work out. And then changing your bed on Friday. An old wives' tale says that if you turn your mattress that day, you'll be cursed with bad dreams. Others say that bad luck day is Sunday. Let's just do that to anywhere near the weekend. So just kind of, I guess, surpass that. Carrying bananas on a ship. In the 1700s, many ships that were lost in a shipwreck were carrying bananas, so sailors were a superstitious bunch. They decided that bananas on a boat meant bad news. I'd be much more worried about banana peels than the boats themselves, but that's just me. Renaming a boat. In ancient times, sailors believed that the name of every boat was written on the ledger of Poseidon. If you dare to change the name of the boat, you'd incur the sea god wrath. Still, if you hadn't had to buy the boat named Titanic, you should probably change it anyways. Mixing beers in Czech Republic, whose people drink more beer per capita than anywhere else. It is believed that if you pour one type of beer into a mug containing another type, you do some misfortune for yourself, especially if the guy whose beer you stole was bigger than you, so that would probably be a big effect. Also, Tuesday the 13th, while many cultures see Friday the 13th as bad news, in Spain, the 13th day of the month is unluckily when it falls on a Tuesday. In Spanish, the word Tuesday is martes, which comes from the word Mars, the Roman god of war, so Tuesday spells trouble. My psychic told me that I'd have bad luck until I was 30, and then after that, I just got used to it, so that's something to think about. Now that I think about it, I was actually born on a Tuesday the 13th. Oh, what does that have to say about things?
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's get into it real quick. If you're looking at some birth dates or some things that occurred back on this day, let's talk about that real quick. Let's take a look back at 1958. Vice President Nixon's car is attacked while touring Venezuela, Latin America countries were decidedly leftist during the Cold War. An outrage of the anti-Soviet rhetoric coming from Washington, a swarm of students managed to interfere with Nixon's motorcade, and they attacked his car, smashed his windows, and dented the body. Inside of Nixon was covered by agents. By some miracle, the car managed to escape, but not before almost being tipped by some people that were there. So there you go. Anyways, if you're looking at some birthdays for today, I got some of those for you. Morgan Wallen turns 29. Jack Borley turns 31. Candace King, 35. Robert Pattinson turns 36 today. Don Harper Nelson, 38. Pusha T turns 44. Scott Morrison turns 54. Tish Cyrus turns 55. Darius Rucker, 56. Stephen Colbert turns 58, Dennis Rodman 61, and Stevie Wonder turns 72 today. If you're looking for some reasons to celebrate, well, besides it being Friday, I got some other reasons for you as well. National Pie Day, National Crouton Day, National Frog Jumping Day, National Fruit Cocktail Day, and National Blame Someone Else Day. I guess they're all great days for you to be able to do your thing. So there you go. Anyways, what else? If you need a random joke for today, I got one of those for you. Friday the 13th is still better than Monday whenever. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. In 20 years, what will people be nostalgic for? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. 55% of people say that they keep one of these in their vehicle. What is it? A roll of toilet paper. And boy, does that make me think of a lot of things to ask on why do you have a roll of toilet paper in your car? I mean, wet wipes I can understand. A roll of toilet paper sounds like you might be on the verge of doing some serious business. But I guess if somebody told me that they had a tushy or a toilet bidet inside of their car, that would be even more information to think about.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, well, that's going to end our time together on this lovely Friday, unless you come over to Safety FM and hang out and listen to some of the stuff that is going on that side. or if you come over to Radio Big and take a listen to the Jay Allen in the Morning Show that's about to start taking place here in a few minutes. So you're more than welcome coming out, hanging out, and doing all that kind of fun stuff, depending on what you have going on. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, we cannot do what we do around here. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen. Hopefully you enjoy your weekend. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
I feel so alive as I reach out to the sky. I found my way. I was in the dark.